Hello students, today we are going to study a chapter in history. The name of the chapter is Rise of Regional Kingdoms. Now let us look at some of the basic terminology. Dynasty, a family of rulers who rule over a country for a long period of time, that is known as a dynasty. Kingdom, any country which is ruled by a monarch, which means a king or a queen is considered to be a kingdom. Empire, an empire can be said is a large kingdom. It is traditionally larger than a kingdom and may consist of many different regions and nations under its control. These regions and nations may be far away from the land of kingdom, that is, its capital. For example, at the height of its power, the British Empire ruled England, Scotland, Wales, India, the West Indies, Australia, and North America. Introduction. At the end of the 17th century, the enormous Mughal Empire founded by Akbar the Great was in a hopeless state. Administration, economic life, military strength, and social organization all were ruins. The endless wars against the Marathas in the Deccan exhausted Aurangzeb's treasury. The majority of people were involved in the armies, which led to neglect of agriculture and countryside. Rise of regional kingdoms, disintegration of the Mughal Empire. The successors of Aurangzeb are known as later Mughals. They ruled until 1857, but the extent of the empire had shrunk to only Delhi, as we know that Mughals had extended their empire almost all over India, but during this time their empire had shrunk down till only Delhi. However, after the reign of Aurangzeb, the throne in Delhi became a bone of contention for the successors of Aurangzeb. Contention means heated disagreement. The successors of Aurangzeb, they were always discussing or they were always disagreeing on who will be the successor after Aurangzeb. Some of the Mughal emperors that enthroned themselves one after another were Bahadur Shah I, Jalandhar Shah, Farrukh Siyar, Muhammad Shah and many others. The emergence of regional kingdoms. The death of Aurangzeb in 1707, the last ruler of the Mughal Empire, and misrule by his successors caused the decline of the Mughal Empire. The regional groups that were against the ideology and policies of Aurangzeb organized revolts against the Mughal Empire. The unified Mughal Empire broke into small regional kingdoms. The kings and rulers were dethroned. The nobles and ministers became powerful, enthroning themselves. You can see in the map of Mughal Empire that the Mughal Empire was almost spread all over India. Regional powers were the kingdoms that rose to power at all regional levels. These states or kingdoms were not at an all-India level. Among the many regional powers that rose after the breaking up of the Mughal Empire, major ones were as follows. Broadly, there were three kinds of states that emerged. The first one were known as the succession states, the states that broke away from the Mughal Empire, example, Hyderabad, Bengal and Awadh. Second were the rebellious states, the new states set up by the rebels against the Mughal, example, Marathas, Sikhs and Jats. Third one were the untouched states, the independent states that became powerful, example, Mysore, the Rajput states and Kerala. The regional kingdoms broken from the Mughal Empire. When you look at the map, you can see the names written with a red ink. Sikhs, Jats, Awadh, Bengal, Malwa, Gujarat, Marathas, Hyderabad, all these were the states or the regions which broke from the Mughal Empire. Now let us look at the first regional kingdom, that is Hyderabad. The founder of the Asaf Shahi dynasty was Mir Kamruddin Khan, a noble and a courtier of the Mughal, Muhammad Shah. He got fed up of the intrigues at the Mughal court at Delhi. He was on his way back to the Deccan, where earlier he was a Subedar, when he was confronted by Mumariz Khan, who was sent by the Mughals to kill him. Mumariz Khan was slain in the battle and Mir Kamruddin Khan assumed the title of Nizam ul Mulk. Earlier, when he was a minister of the Deccan, he was conferred the title of Asaf Jah. Thus began the Asaf Jahi rule over Golconda with the capital at Aurangabad. Now let us look at the achievements of Muhammad Shah. He kept the Marathas out of his kingdom. He was tolerant towards Hindus. He started Asaf Jahi dynasty which lasted for over 200 years. Did you know Kohinoor is a precious diamond? It was mined from Kullur mines of Golconda near Hyderabad. In this picture you can see the state of Hyderabad. Now the second state or the regional kingdom which became independent was Bengal, which includes Bihar and Orissa. Bengal, including Bihar and Orissa, became independent under Murshid Quli Khan in 1717 to 1727. Achievements of Murshid Quli Khan. He was an efficient administration, organized the zamindari system and revenue system. He shifted the capital from Decca to Murshidabad. Bengal, which includes Bihar and Orissa, you can see it in the map. Decca is now the capital of Bangladesh, which is an independent country. Bengal had become very prosperous during the reign of Nawabs. Agriculture and cotton textile industries provided employment to local people. Now the next state is Awadh. Awadh came under the rule of Saadat Khan, who became its ruler in 1722. Awadh extended it up to Rohilkhand, a territory of east of Delhi. Now let us look at the achievements of Saadat Khan. He suppressed the rebellions of zamindars. He reformed the revenue system. He managed to establish peace in the state. He made Lucknow the capital of Awadh. Due to his efforts, Awadh became the center of culture in North India. He patronized art, architecture and culture. After his death in 1739, his son-in-law Safdar Jung succeeded as its ruler. Now you can see in this map the location of Awadh. Now the next state we are going to study is the Marathas, which comes under the rebellious states. Shivaji established the Maratha kingdom during the reign of Aurangzeb. During the 18th century, Marathas emerged as the most powerful regional kingdom. Achievements of Shivaji. Shivaji was an able statesman and efficient administrator. He united the Marathas politically and resisted the Mughal expansion in the Deccan. Out of all the regional kingdoms that were formed after the Aurangzeb, the Marathas were the most powerful. Now let us learn more about Shivaji. Shivaji was born on 10th April 1627. The name of his father was Sahaji and mother's Jijabai. Right from his childhood, Shivaji was freedom-loving. His mother and his teacher had groomed him well and taught him martial exercises. They told him stories of heroes, which instilled in his mind courage and love for adventure. They took great care in bringing up and educating the child. The task of Shivaji's education was entrusted to Dada Kondevji, an experienced and dedicated Brahmin teacher. Shivaji loved having mock fights with his friends. He was exceptionally bold and fearless. When he was only 13 years old, his father took him to Bijapur court. The experience made him dream about a kingdom of his own. Now the next regional kingdom was the Sikh Empire or the state of Sikhs. The invasion of Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali had weakened the Mughal hold over Punjab. Ranjit Singh took control over the Punjab, the area west of river Satluj. The Sikhs became a militant sector after the death of Guru Tegh Bahadur. During Guru Gobind Singh's rule, the Sikhs formed a military brotherhood called the Khalsa. This group's main aim was to oppose the Mughals. Band Bahadur became the leader of the Sikhs after the death of Guru Gobind Singh. He carried on a vigorous struggle against the Mughals. Now let us look at some of the famous Sikh gurus. Ranjit Singh, Guru Tegh Bahadur, Guru Gobind Singh, Band Singh Bahadur. Now let us look at the next regional kingdom of Jats. The agricultural community of Agra, Mathura and around Delhi revolted against Aurangzeb's harsh revenue policies. Churaman and his nephew Badan Singh declared their independence. Badan Singh's son Suraj Mal became a Jat hero. He extended his kingdom from Awadh in the east to Delhi in the west. Bharatpur was the capital of the Jat kingdom. The next region is of Mysore. The map shows the location of Mysore. In 1761, Hyder Ali, a soldier in Mysore army, rose to a high position. He overthrew the reigning dynasty in Mysore and established his control over the state. Tipu Sultan, son of its ruler, Hyder Ali, took control of Mysore after his father's death. Let us learn more about Tipu Sultan. This is the famous sword of Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan, the ruler of Mysore, was an expert soldier, excellent scholar, and accomplished poet. He was a powerful ruler. He carried out several reforms and tried to modernize his army and administration. He tried to strengthen the economy of the state by encouraging agriculture and promoting trade and commerce. He passed a severe challenge to other regional powers and the British. Next is the Rajputs. The Rajputs did make themselves free from the Mughals but were victims of internal rivalries. They did not unite, so could not compete with the Jats and the Marathas. Raja Savai Jai Singh was one of the outstanding ruler of Mewar. The kingdom of Mewar was situated in what is now Rajasthan in northern India. He was a scientist, astronomer, lawmaker and social reformer. As a social reformer, he tried to get rid of evil practices of sati and female infanticide. He founded the city of Jaipur and made a huge fort there. Jantar Mantar, an astronomical observatory, was built by him in Jaipur, which is now the capital of Rajasthan. And just for your knowledge, there are overall 5 Jantar Mantars all over India, but Jantar Mantar of Jaipur is only the one which is in a working condition. Now this map shows you the Rajputana Empire or the Rajput Empire. The last untouched state is Kerala. The 3 states of Cochin, Travancore and Calicut together comprise the present state of Kerala. Hyder Ali invaded Kerala in 1766 and annexed Malabar and Calicut. Travancore, which is now known as Thiruvananthapuram, the southernmost state and the most important one, was spared. Later, in the 18th century, under the king Ramavarma, a man of great creativity and learning, made Travancore the capital, a center of scholarship and art. Now let us conclude this chapter. The external challenges and internal weaknesses did not allow the spread of regional kingdoms to reach the status of an all-India level. Many states set up were short-lived and none were able to rise up to the level of the Mughals. The most crucial feature of the 18th century, due to the weaknesses of the regional kingdoms, was the rise and expansion of the British power in India. Children, I hope you have understood this chapter well and the basics are clear. Thank you so much.